Guys, I'm back. Another thing I forgot to mention, I thought about it after I turned the camera off, was you could also, I mentioned the die cut machine, so if you wanted to take some of these pattern papers you've already pre-cut and go to your Cuttlebug and whip out some die cuts, you could do that. That's an option at this stage in the process. And again, there's no planning. It's really just, hey, I really want to use this die, or I really want to use this embossing folder, or I really want to do this. And just playing with your papers and making different things with them. Another thing that you could do is you could take your stamps, say like I have this, we'll do the good stuff here because that's going to go for any general layout, good stuff. It's pretty standard. And I could take some of my little cut aparts or my die cuts that I've cut apart, or even just a little piece of paper, and I could go ahead and pre-stamp myself. Doesn't mean I still can't layer this and not use the actual stamped part, but it makes you use your stamps by pre-stamping stuff. So I could, you know, for instance, put this here, that'd be perfect. And then I have this extra little title card available to me. So that's an option. You can, you know, go ahead and pre-ink stuff if you know you want everything inked. I also use these the cutoffs from the paper, and I'm going to use this as a border, so I have that in the pile. You could also go ahead and pre-cut some ribbons. So I could just say, you know what, I know I really want to use up some of this ribbon. I'm going to cut random sections of it. I'm just going to put it into my process of putting my papers down as though it's its own little piece of paper. And basically it's about the same as like one of these border strips. So you could treat it like it's paper and pre-cut a bunch of it, which I'm thinking I might do because I have so much of this ribbon, is just pre-cut some and just try to work it into my layout. Usually you think of ribbon as more of an embellishment part, and it can be both, but I really think that this would be fun to incorporate into my background layers. So I think I'll do that for sure. I think I'm going to pre-stamp some stuff, and I think I might take some of these and do some die cutting as well, because I have a lot of paper here. I'm going to need it with all the backgrounds that I have, but I think that I need to use my my Big Shot, and I think I'm going to just go over and maybe cut out some generic shapes. I have some cameras and different things that can go for pretty much any layout that you do. Again, I have no pictures in mind for this. Like, I know that sounds really crazy, but I wouldn't have bought the paper line if I either didn't love it or know that I'm going to have pictures that will go well with it, because I've talked about this before, because I have girls, so I know that pink is always going to work. And, you know, generally you can always find photos that are going to match a certain color scheme, and even if you have to turn them black and white or whatever, but I rarely have to do that. I can usually always find something that's going to work, because if it was a paper line that, you know, weren't colors that I used often, then I probably wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't colors I incorporate into my life on a regular basis. So I think those were the only ideas that I had. Pre-stamping is a good idea. You could also get out your tools, like your border punches, and pre-punch a bunch of these. I might do that as well. So I would just take this one and say, I know I'm gonna use it this way because the words go this way, so it's probably gonna be my bottom layer that I'm gonna work up from. I'm gonna go ahead and just border strip this bottom piece here, or the top piece, whatever you want to do. Maybe some of them you can make into banners. So see, I have these. I'll say this die cut here, it's a camera. Maybe I want to make this into a border, so I'm going to trim and make it, or into a flag, whatever you call it, and just, you know, pre-cut it. So you've already kind of pre-done the work. So when you get to the point to where you're gluing stuff down, you're literally just like slapping it down and not having to do a bunch of work to it. Trying to think of any other ideas. So you could do border punches. You could actually use your punches and punch different shapes out. You could, if you want to ink any of them or spray mist any of them. So even though you don't have an idea of how you're using that particular piece of paper, you can create your own custom, you know, little embellishments or paper layers before you actually use them. And then just challenge yourself to use it as you've made it or as you've cut it, which is what the whole point of this is to say, I know that no matter how it's cut, I can use it. This is a great inspiration for using up your scraps, because it shows you that you can take different patterns and colors and sizes and textures, and you can put them together on a page and make them work, because you know that these technically are coordinated. I mean, they're all from one paper line, and while it's a little bit more eclectic, it kind of gives you the idea of how you can make maybe your own, variety of scraps work together in the same way. And so anyway, so I will stop talking. I just had those ideas and I wanted to run those across you. Of course, I'm sure there's other options that you could do. You could grab some flair and you could create your own 3D embellishment. So you could take, let's see, you could take just a little piece of, let me think here. You could take like this and you could add a flare to the middle and stitch it and spray mist it, or you could create your own little 3D embellishments that we spend a lot of money on, frankly. I mean, look at even like the last kit that I played with, the close knit from Crepe Paper, and you bought a package of 10 borders, and they're basically just little die cuts that were sewed together. So take this and glue it together, and and if you're a sewer, I'm not, you could sew it, and now you have your own embellishment that you've made from your little, kit. And then just say, I'm going to use this as this instead of two separate things, and just make that commitment to do it. Like I said, I'm not a sewer, but I might do that. you could even cut these words off, the same moments documented, just cut it out and then attach it to one of your die cuts, and then you have a different looking journaling card or title card, or layering piece, or whatever you want to do. So that is something that if you do want to do a lot of that, you can go ahead and grab your smaller items back out, your stickers and your different things, and pre-make your own embellishments if you'd like. Or you can save that to the end as well. But I just wanted to give you some ideas of ways that you could use this process to use your tools, your inks, your sprays, your sewing, your ribbons. I could get twine and, some of these cards that are pre-made, go and just wrap twine around it. And now it's already done for you, and you just committed to using this card with that twine around it. If that makes sense. I hope that does. Again, it's just kind of embellishing your stash before you actually put it on the paper, and it's committing yourself to using up some more of your supplies. So those are just some ideas. They're limitless, honestly, because of all the little bits and pieces and things that we surround ourselves with, that we can decorate things with. But I wanted to give you some ideas of ways that you could use up your stash, use up your tools on this whole pile of goodness before we actually put it down on the paper. So with that said, I will stop there, and I will be back in the next part soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.